Mickey?
Who's here?
Mickey!
Right, Rube, how you doing?
Oh, you know, just getting my fix.
Nice to see you, darling.
You too. Steve, this is Mickey.
Hello, mate. Have I met you before?
I don't think so. Do you know Tommy Arnold? He's my brother.
No, I've not come across him.
Mickey? Mickey can't help himself. He's a copper. But he ain't a bad one, really.
I was only asking, you know what I mean?
Come on, let's get on. I've got to get back to work.
See you later. Nice to see you.
Later.
She seems well. Who's the fella?
Not Steve.
No, he's all right. You don't seem sure.
Well, Ruby's pretty keen. They're getting serious. They've got their own gaff now. So, what are we doing?
What, did you forget your head?
Ruby, this is Kezia. She works for me.
Hello.
You mind telling me where you... You mind telling me where you were at 5 to 9 this morning, Ruby?
What?
We were at home in bed.
So no witnesses then?
No, we're not into that sort of thing.
We think your scooter was used in a robbery this morning.
Leave off. It's been at the back of ours all night.
Actually, it's at the front. I'm afraid we're going to have to take it in for forensics, and we need to ask you both some questions at Sun Hill.
You're taking us in?
It's routine, Ruby, okay? A couple of officers are going to have to search your flat as well. I'm sorry.
Sierra Oscar from DC Walker. I need a couple of uniforms to search the premises of...
Steve Arnold, 36 Tasker Street.
Steve Arnold, 36 Tasker Street, over.
I checked your form, all right?
All received.
Come on.
I thought we were meant to be mates.
What's happening?
I'm going to sort this out, Joey, okay? Trust me.
What do you mean, sort what?
I'll sort it out, okay? Don't worry.
There you go. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate if you didn't mention what I spoke about earlier. Ruby doesn't know that her old man's been snouting for me. I'd like to keep it that way.
I can't see it coming up, Mickey. Don't worry about it.
Cheers. Christian either. Okay, yeah, of course I will. Hey.
I was in bed with Steve.
Asleep?
No.
What about the 12th of July or the 15th of June?
I don't remember.
Where'd you normally keep your scooter?
There's a lock-up garage round the back of our flat.
Who's got access to it?
Steve, Dad.
Anyone else?
No, that's it.
So either of those two could have driven it up to the cafe.
I bet it was Dad. I've been at him for ages about getting a respray. He's been banging on about surprising me one day.
So you think if we spoke to your dad, he'll tell us that he took the bike up there?
Well, he must have. There's no way Steve was robbing any jewellers this morning. He was in bed with me.
What do you do for a living, Steve?
Motor mechanics, mainly.
Well, you must do pretty big jobs. Because we know that you've been making regular payments of £3,000 into your account. What is she doing here?
Where's Steve?
He had to see some bloke, so he's asked me to come and pick up the money. Something about buying some bike parts.
Yeah, he promised me a pint.
I don't believe this. Steve ain't taking any chances, is he?
No.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Come on, Jerry, use your loaf.
I'll go with the police.
It's okay. Like I said, we've got nothing to hide.
So Steve was with you as well. Look, you've got to trust Mickey, you know. He's only trying to do the right thing. So if Steve wasn't with
Oh, here
you...
we go. I thought you liked Steve. Do you know, you're always the same. Every time I like a bloke, you've got a problem with him.
I'm worried about you, that's all.
Yeah? But I can look after myself, Dad.
Will, keep hold of her, yeah?
Ruby, I'm going to have to ask you to stay now.
What?
Please, sir.
Oh, look, get off me, will ya?
Ruby, this is serious. You know what Steve's been up to? You know what that money's for?
Motor parts. Look, Steve hasn't done anything.
I've had enough of this. Ruby Harper, I'm arresting you for attempting to pervert the course of justice. You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. For the benefit of the tape, I'm showing Ruby Harper a package containing £3,000 that she collected off her father from Martyr's Wharf this afternoon. £3,000 for bike parts, Ruby. You can get free second-hand scooters for that.
Steve does a lot of vintage repairs. Spares are hard to come by. They're expensive, you know.
Is that what he told you? Did he tell you much about his time at Longmarsh at all?
No, not much.
So he never used to tell you that he used to share a cell with Joe Armstrong?
I ain't heard that name in years.
I nicked him. Your dad gave me a tip-off on a deal they were doing. You remember that day? He took you out for the day to the West End, shopping, cinema, big treat. It was just to keep you out of the way.
Dad? But he hates grasses. He's always said so.
Well, it's amazing how people just lose their principles when they're trying to save someone they care about.
So all this time you've been coming up to Dad's cafe, sleazing about, and you were spying on me? You and me dad?
Looking out for you, Ruby, okay? He'd do anything for you, your dad.
Yeah? And now he's trying to get Steve sent
Jerry's
down.
worried sick, okay? He'd do anything to protect you.
I don't care. I love Steve, and he's trying to wreck that. And do you know what? I hate him for it.
Do you want to see him sent down?
No, look, of course I don't. Look, what are you going on about?
For the benefit of the tape, I'm playing Ruby Harper, an interview that took place earlier this morning between myself and Jerry Harper.
He said it was just a favour at first. If I fenced the gear for him, then he'd keep his mouth shut about me getting all Ruby's mates banged up.
She's a big girl, she'd have understood.
Yeah, maybe, but he was using Ruby's bike, wasn't he? The next time I told him we were even, I wasn't going to fence his hooky gear for him anymore. Things got heavy. I told him if he got leery, then I'd tell you that he'd done the robberies. He said if I grassed him up, then he'd put Ruby right in the frame with him. Now that girl is my life, Mickey, you know that.
I didn't know, I swear. Steve left the house about 8:30 this morning. Yeah, he's got a spare key to the scooter.
What about the leathers and the crowbar that he uses?
He's got a lock-up on the lock, mate.
I spoke to my governor. He's convinced that Ruby knew nothing about Steve doing the robberies.
Thanks, Mickey. How long are you going to keep burning me out?
Well, don't thank me yet. I've done all I can. You may still end up doing a bit of time, though, you know that.
This is all my fault, though, ain't it? I mean, it's me you keep bailing out.
You can't choose who you fall in love with, can you?
Yeah? Well, you can choose who you listen to.
Your old man's right. You're young, you're supposed to be making mistakes.
Pretty big mistakes, if you ask me. I mean, what if you hadn't...
Ruby, that's my job.
Yeah, I know it is. Thanks, Mickey.
He knew this place wasn't overlooked, so he's almost certainly local. So this personality likes a uniform, the trappings of authority, but he can't function in a team. He works alone.
Next on ITV1, it's Wire in the Blood. While over on ITV2, it's The Runaway Bride, starring Julia Roberts and Richard Gere.